Hey YouTubers, this is Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and I am back. Just kind of want to give you a little update. A couple months ago, me and my family, we went to Egypt and stayed about 9 days, and we had the most wonderful time. I had been playing this for some time and meditated and just sent out the good intentions to the universe that I was going to go there, and it happened. So I'm so excited. That is a magical place, and if any of you guys want to go there, meditate, speak the word into existence, and you will be there. It was very hot, but it was tolerable, and there were so many nice people. Forget the media, forget the propaganda. Everyone was very nice there. Everyone was very helpful. They spoke English, even though I learned a little bit of Arabic. You know, they really liked that too, that American can speak that language. So it all kind of worked out. I got to see the Great Pyramids of Giza, all the temples, rode in the Nile. It was just the most fantastic thing ever. I'm planning to go back next year. It's better to go in the summer because it's cheaper. Even though it's hot, it's cheaper. And so between October, November, December, that is their busiest month. So things are going to be, way more expensive. So I took like over 1,100 pictures. We had two wonderful tour guides. And the best thing about it, even though they were Muslim, they were kind of like your Kushite Sufi kind of people. They were like into like the esoteric knowledge, not the really orthodoxy kind of stuff. We talked about crystals, meditation, working, positive energies. We were exchanging ideals. It was almost kind of like the East meets the West kind of thing, and we both shared ideals. So I was very happy and lucky to have been around positive people like that. It is one sad thing I have to say is that knowing that Egypt was, one of the first credible civilizations and was the most dominant country, the most, I guess, things for, agriculture, crystals, cattle, agriculture, and all that, to see it in the shape it is now, it's kind of sad to see that, knowing that the wonderful people, the great minds of antiquity that were there, and then what it is now. I mean, it is a really sad thing. The poverty is very high. They have 4 million homeless in Cairo alone. Cairo has 25 million people. I did give some money to a homeless little girl. And it was just a very touching situation. I was in tears practically the whole time. I just felt, even though it was a sad situation, I did feel a lot of positive and energy and love from the people. So what we have got to start doing is quit, following along in the game. We have to send out the love vibration, the caring vibrations to humanity. Religion has got to go. That has to falter. And we are going to have to start looking at each other as a human being, and quit looking at the religious books, because this is the time where this is going to have to go. I'm not in religion anymore, and I'm so thankful for that, because now my mind is not brainwashed and I'm not indoctrinated any longer, and I will not go back into a church. I will continue to read my ancient history and documents and look for answers in the ancient world, because those people left us information to live by and hopefully get us to come to reason with humanity, like the Colburn Bible, the Chaldean Genesis, the Book of the Dead. Look at the cave paintings that were found in France and all that area 40,000 years ago. This earth goes in cycles. It lives and it dies. It gets flooded, it burns up. And so, whoever leaves us information, we're going to have to take that and learn from it. And hopefully, some of us in this time has opened up and has come to consciousness to where we can try to see what we can do to help our mankind. With that being said, I did see a lot of writings on the temples that told stories about the afterlife, about the pharaohs. It was awesome to see that. I was always touching the stones, touching the limestone, sandstones, all the granite. I was soaking up all the energies that I could. I was walking out, meditating, hearing the birds chirp. The sun was on me. I could have just sat out there in the middle of nowhere and just let all the information come to my head. I just sit and contemplate on everything I saw. So I'm just telling you guys, you have to go to Egypt. There is spirituality there. You can find it. It is a pathway. It will enlighten you even more and go back in time and to find out maybe where you came from, who you were in a past life. It's funny because a lot of people, well, I'm not going to say a lot, but 2 or 3 people, they kept calling me Cleopatra. I had like my palm read once. I had ran into a couple of guys and they said I was strong-willed, like Cleopatra. I wasn't afraid of anything. I spoke my mind, which all these characteristics are true of my personality. Even though I'm a Pisces. So, I just wanted to just kind of give you a little background where I've been, and I haven't been making any videos. So, with that said, even though I'm not religious, I kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about what's in the book, the Bible, compared to what is real history within Egyptian history. Okay. So I'm going to hopefully make a video about the 18th dynasty. Because really and truly, if you read the Old Testament, it's really telling you about the 18th dynasty from Joseph, which was Judah, the vizier, and Akhenaten, Moses, and that kind of thing. So it's really telling you about how all the things fell when Akhenaten took on this monotheistic religion of the Aten. So I'm going to try to get all my marbles for that one and kind of go from there. But I'm just going to pick on one certain pharaoh. And his name was Thutmosis III. And we're going to compare to the biblical David. Okay. So we know, as we've been told in church and as we have been indoctrinated ever since we were infants, that David was called a warrior king. He won all of his battles, and that he took the Ark of the Covenant in all of his battles, and he won all of his battles and victories. He did win, and he did slew a lot of people. And then David called Jerusalem his holy city. Now, what is very interesting? Oh, one more thing. in the book of Psalms, there, I can't remember exactly what verse it was in, but it did say that God told him that this day you shall be my son, and I shall be your father. That you are now the begotten son of me. So that's going to tell you that God said that he was the begotten son and that he was going to be his father. Okay, that's David. So, what's the historical facts of this story? Okay, well, I'm here to tell you. Thutmosis III in history lived in the 18th dynasty, New Kingdom. Thutmosis III in history was called the Napoleon warrior of his day. He was on 17 military victories, and he won each one of those. Now, what is very surprising is that in each one of his military victories, he took his Ark of the Covenant, his shrine of Amun-Ra, with him. And he said, "Thanks be to Amun-Ra of my military victories." So, when the writers were writing this Bible, they were actually using real stories of people, but with a different name. You can go on a website called domainofman.com, and there is an author by the name of Charles Pope that kind of breaks things down for you as well. Also, another scholar that has written a book called The Histories of Ancient Egypt, Mustafa Gadala. Very great scholarship of who these people are. Now, what's funny is that in the Bible, where it talks about David had went to where the Jebusites were, and he went to this king, and he says, "Hey, I tell you what, let me stay here, give you some money, because I need to, fight these Canaanites and Syrians, and just let me stay here. But, you can just be here, be the king or whatever, be the governor or whatever." But in real history, guess what happens? Thutmosis III goes into Palestine. He meets with this king. He does what the Bible says, gives him money. He protects the guy. He houses him up, protects his people. Thutmosis III stayed there for 7 months. He battled the Syrians and the Canaanites, and he beat them. When he beat the Syrians and the Canaanites, after 7 months of battle, he called Jerusalem, which at that time there was no J's. A J did not enter into the English alphabet into the 16th century. Everything was with a Y or a U. So at that particular time, it was called Jerusalem or Kadesh. Qadesh, I believe is how you spell it. Kadesh. So basically, in the Bible, it talks about Kadesh. So everywhere that you see Kadesh is the, I guess, the modern day name of Jerusalem, or ancient Jerusalem. So then Thutmosis III said, okay, I have made Kadesh, I have battled these people, and now Kadesh is going to be my holy city. And Thutmosis III lived there. Now, what is even more ironic is that he built a fortress wall around Kadesh. Okay. And protected it. Thutmosis III came way before Akhenaten, King Tut, and all that. So from that point on, when Thutmosis went into Kadesh and won the battle and called Kadesh his holy city, and he took Amun-Ra in a shrine with him and put garrisons, Egyptian garrisons in there, and that was of the Egyptian province, because see, you had Egypt over here and then the Palestine area over here to the northeast. They put garrisons there, and that was now called part of the Egyptian territory. So from that point on, even past Akhenaten and King Tut, that was all Egyptian province. So now you have this city that is in the Egyptian province and hands. Even though Thutmosis was the pharaoh, he still gave that king that was there, that he gave the money to and stuff, and protected while he fought the other people. He made them the kings, like, of the area, okay? And then he would be doing all his major stuff in Thebes, because Thebes was the major hub of the religious part of the kingdom. So now you have the warrior king, won all the military victories, had the shrine. With the shrine he won, it's on carvings on the temples of people carrying this Ark of the Covenant, this shrine, in Egypt on its temples. Now you have him going into Kadesh, his holy city, stays there, makes a fortress. In the Bible, David said he made a fortress. I don't see how much more plain I have to be. This is an Egyptian book. This is an Egyptian literature. You can read all about King David's victories against the Philistines, the Canaanites, and all that kind of good stuff. And you can go read about how he went and called Jerusalem his holy city. The same thing that Thutmosis III did in Egyptian antiquity. So, a little side note, and I'm going to make this video short. So, if Moses, which we know there was no Moses, because Moses is going to be your Akhenaten. So if Moses left Egypt to go to Canaan, okay, the promised land, actually, he'd be going to Egypt. So how can you go from Egypt to go into an Egyptian province? Food for thought. He never made it. Akhenaten didn't make it because his ass died in the Sinai desert. So Um, that's my point. Thutmosis I was there in Egypt. I saw the statues. I saw the carvings on the temples of Thutmosis III, and I even saw on the temple walls where the god Amun Ra blessed him as his begotten son. So the writing is on the walls, people. You have to go search. And I did my homework. So I wanted to bring this information to you today. So, as always, me and Thoth say, when you search for the truth and you find the truth will set you free. And as always, me and Thoth say, Hotep and Ashe.